Here on GoPSUSports.com, Brian Tripp joined by Penn State hockey head coach Guy Gadowsky as the Nittany Lions prepare for the Big Ten tournament semifinals this weekend at Notre Dame. Coach, back-to-back sweeps against such a proud, historic program like Minnesota. How do you describe what your team just accomplished?
I know it's like we're not thinking about it right now. I think that when after the season in the summer, you look back at those scores, and I think the team will be really, really proud. But until then, right now, we've got more pressing business, and all we're thinking about is Saturday night at Notre Dame. Like, that's it. But I'm sure that, at time after this is all said and done, we'll look back and really think about how special those 4 games were.
Looking back specifically at this past weekend in the Big Ten tournament, where do you feel like your team really played well where you can carry that over to next weekend?
Well, against a team that good, honestly, we had to play very well in a lot of different areas. You can't just play defense against them because they're going to figure out ways to score anyway, and you just can't play offense. You have to be really good all over. I do think we carried along probably some consistent play. I think there was ebbs and flows. A lot have to do with major penalties, etc. But if you look at what we did 5-on-5, I thought we were pretty consistent.
What does that say about the character of your team? No matter what's thrown at it, they're able to be resilient and battle back?
That, and I think they're pretty smart. They figured out a way. In terms of consistency, it's so elusive, it's so hard to get, and I think they're a pretty smart bunch. They figured out what they have to do to play a consistent game, and they did pretty well for 4 games in a row, and hopefully we can keep it going, but that's not an easy thing to do.
This is the first year of the tournament format where you get to play on home ice. How did that impact this past weekend playing in front of these great fans?
So there's a couple things. One, I don't think we ever would have got home ice if it wasn't for our fans. The way they came out for alumni weekend, senior weekend, the support we got, and the atmosphere in this building was just unbelievable. It was just rocking, and that had a big factor in us winning that series, allowing us to get home ice. And then once we did, it's spring break, the weather was terrible, there was people that couldn't get in, and still the community came out and absolutely rocked this place and gave us a great push. And then Saturday night was awesome. And Jimmy Pucks, with 2 minutes to go, stood up on the bench. I don't know if he knew I was behind him, and he looked around. He was like, just look at this building. And it just, the community came in huge, and also the students that came back to Pagula for their spring break to support us was just unbelievable. That means a great ton.
Positive or negative results, however the season's gone, how has your team taken lessons from those experiences and grown over the course of the year?
There's been a lot of them, and I don't think that it's been just one or two main points. I think there's been experiences that we had to learn from, early losses to AIC or Mercyhurst, and then I thought we learned a lot through the streak that we had unbeaten in 11, and we learned a lot through the streak that we had where we played really well and didn't win. You can point to a number of things, not only in our games and competitions, but in practice as well. And for this team right now, I do believe it's a combination of a lot of little lessons, not necessarily just one turning point.
As you go on the road to take on the Irish, what type of lessons or experiences do you take from the first 4 meetings this year as you head into the playoffs? Obviously, so much at stake now.
I think that if you look at the last weekend that we played here at Pagula, I think that you have to tip your hat to Notre Dame in the sense of how disciplined they were, and how structured. They were very disciplined, very structured, very consistent team in what they did. And I think that you can learn from others as well, not just your own experiences. And I think we learned a little bit from that, and I'm sure we can expect much of the same. And our game plan is going to have to be built around beating that. We know that they're not going to give us anything. It's not a matter of us just taking advantage of what they give us, because that's not going to happen. We really have to work on creating our own offense, and we don't mind doing that either, though.
Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck Saturday night.
Thank you very much.
Penn State head coach Guy Gadowsky, Nittany Lions and Fighting Irish, 5:30 Saturday night in South Bend.